Welcome back, everyone, to the Player Zone, a YouTube channel. And it's a big game this week. It is the North London derby. It's the one that everyone keeps an eye on. It is Arsenal hosting Tottenham, I think second versus third at the moment. So a big game. You haven't had a North London derby that's been neck and neck for a while. Both teams have been in really great form, really poor form. But we finally got both teams at their best, it seems. And they're coming up against each other on Sunday at that midday fixture there. So a massive fixture. And like I do with most weeks, when there's a big game on, I have to celebrate it by doing a combined 11. And this one was hard to make because you've got one team in Tottenham, which we haven't really seen the best of in previous years, pushing up and pushing through. And an Arsenal team who've been good now for the last, let's say it, 15 months realistically. Mikel Arteta's got this team playing some high quality football. So I was really excited about this team. It was hard to fit some Tottenham guys in there, but I made space for a few of them to fit in, and I'm really excited to put together this combined 11. Make sure, guys, if you enjoyed this video, to like the video, subscribe to the channel, share the channel. We're growing very quickly at the moment, and I appreciate all the support on the recent predictions videos and also the podcast. So keep supporting the channel, guys, and I'll keep pumping out these videos. And that being said, guys, let's get straight into the starting 11. Alrighty, guys, we start in goal, and for me, you might find it a bit controversial, but I have to go with David Raya, right? So for me, one of the best all-round keepers in the Premier League, with his hands, with his feet. Nowadays, we see with the signing of Onana at United, people are so disorientated around ball-playing goalkeepers, but Raya has it all, right? I think he's got some of the best hands in the Premier League. His save percentage last year was the top with 77.7%, and he just won points for Brentford at times last year. I refer back to that Tottenham game at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium towards the end of last year, where he's making double, triple saves. He just wins Brentford points, right? And it was a massive signing for Arsenal, and a sign of Arsenal, I think, and Mikel Arteta trying to improve on last year. Ramsdale, obviously a really great keeper, great with his feet, some great saves. We know how much he loves doing it for the cameras, but overall, really solid keeper, right? Like, probably the upper quartile, but I think Raya's that next step. And if Arsenal want to take that next step, I think at times Ramsdale were at fault for sort of small mistakes towards the back end of last season when they had that sort of fall off. To improve the team, David Raya is that, and as such, for me, he has to go on this team. As I said, he's probably one of the most all-round players in the Premier League. For me, he's the closest to get to Alisson as possible. And for me, Alisson is untouchable at the moment, probably the best keeper in the world. He's got the good feet, he's got the great hands. And for me, Ray's up there with the same sort of level. Probably not as good with his feet as those guys, but he's up with the best hands, like the David De Gea's, like the Nick Popes, like the Alissons. But he's got feet not far off, the likes of the Edersons of the world, and those who are really strong with their feet. So as such, for me, a very underrated keeper. The 12 clean sheets last season, and the top 7% for all touches among goalkeepers. So he still receives the ball with his feet, he can still play with his feet. So as such, for me, he has to be in this team as the starting goalkeeper. All right, we move to the right side of the fence. For me, it has to be Ben White. And the biggest compliment I can give him is that he's never talked about, because he never does anything bad. And at the moment in the Premier League, all we really talk about people who are underperforming. This guy has been super consistent now for 12 months at minimum. He's been super good for Arsenal, ever present in their team, and someone who they can trust on. There's a lot of movement around the back line, a lot of injuries flying around. He's always there for Arsenal. He was the top 3 in progressive passes over the last year for fullbacks in his position, just showing his ability to set up the attack for Arsenal. He may not be the most progressive fullback that's left for the likes of Zinchenko, the left-hand side of the Arsenal fullback position, but a part of 14 clean sheets last season, that cannot be ignored, and his ability to play on the ball despite not being so progressive is very important. We keep talking about ball-playing players, especially at the back these days, and he is not out of his depth at all. Again, not the most progressive player, but someone you can always trust on. His pass completion rate leaves in the top 8% for all fullbacks as well, so he's one of the better fullbacks going around, and for me, a bit of a slam dunk to get this team at right back. We move to the centre-back position, and for me, the most obvious one, it has to be William Saliba. We've seen when he was in the side last year how important he was, because when he was not in the side towards the back end of last season, Arsenal's whole title race fell apart. And the biggest stat I've got for this, they won 21 of their first 27 games when Saliba played, involving 12 clean sheets there. But when he missed the last 11 games, they only won 5 games and only collected 2 clean sheets. So his importance on the football pitch for Arsenal is monumental. We saw how much they fell apart and capitulated towards the back end of last season. It might have been pressure, maybe this, that, and the other, but for me, it's obvious, the link there. Without Saliba being there, they struggled very drastically. And you look at his tackle percentage, his success percentage is at 83.3%. We know him as a bit of a Rolls Royce. His defense and his pace and power just works so well. Like, we've got so many great centre backs in this league, but he's the guy who stands out as one of the best. And considering he's only 22 years old and last year was his first full season in the Premier League, you've got to admire how quality this guy is. And if he was at Arsenal for the next 8 years, we could be seeing one of the strongest defences for years to come. That pairing with Gabriel as well is so underrated, how well they work as a pairing. For me, they're one of the best twos we've got going around in the Premier League. Man City always chop and change, but these two are constantly there for Arsenal. So for me, just someone who has to be in this team. And what a great start he's made this season. Despite coming back from an injury, he looks right back at home. And the physicality, the pace that he's got, it's so hard to go past and forwards. So just having a struggle to get past him. So as such, for me, he is the centre back in this team. Playing alongside him at centre back for me is Mickey van der Ven, a signing who's gone under the radar in my opinion. I think someone who's very crucial for Tottenham. Me and the other boys on the football podcast, the Away Day show we do, we're talking about in the off-season the need for Tottenham to sign a centre back, because they've been playing in a back five now for a lot of managers in the past few years. So they needed someone who could play in a centre back 2 pairing rather than a back 3. And Mickey van der Ven was that guy. Clocked as one of the quickest defenders in the Bundesliga last year, amongst the likes of Alphonso Davies, just showing how quick he is. And it comes in very handy because Tottenham, with their attacking fullbacks and their attacking style of play, are often 2-on-2, basically 2 centre-backs and 2 forwards at times on the counter-attack for opposition teams there. So his one-on-one defensive ability, his pace, and underrated his tackling ability. He's very, very efficient into a tackle as well. His ability to do one-on-ones is so, so good. So he's won 80% of his tackles so far this season. So just showing his ability to be smart with his tackles and get them right. And as I said as well, like, his one-on-one ability when Tottenham get caught out is very, very impressive. And someone Ange obviously picked out and nailed it. He's so far nailed all his signings, and Mickey van der Ven was one of those. And very, very impressed the way he started this season. As such, for me, he does pip Gabriel into this team just because of the form right now he is currently in. Another Tottenham player will play at left back. Another probably controversial call, but on the form he's shown this so far this season and what I've seen from him in pre-season as well, I've been very excited by Destiny Udogie. What a signing, what a find for Tottenham. I've been ultra impressed with how progressive he's been. In the last year, he's been in the top 6% for progressive carries and take-ons for a fullback. So just showing his attacking output, he's up there with the best in the world right now. We've already seen how rapid his pace is to get up and down that pitch. He's someone who's constantly pushing up to the bar line to get balls in the box. We've seen that already 2 assists so far this season. And his ability to just not get outbodied either. We often think of these pacey players that can get outbodied or out-strength, but he's still got that strength. He's got that power to still push off players. And he's got the all-round package. If you can sharpen up some of his delivery into the box and his passing ability, it'll make life easier for him, because defensively, it seems to come very naturally for him just to slide in and sweep past a player to get the ball back. He is super, super exciting to watch. Might not be the full package yet. Probably not as good on the ball as the likes of the Zinchenkos of the world, but I just cannot ignore Destiny Udogie start this season. So as such, for me, he's in this combined 11 as the left back. I've gone with a midfield 3, and at the holding position, the number 6 position, I had to go with Declan Rice, the big money signing for Arsenal. He's been worth every single penny. We've seen that massive goal against Manchester United to win in that game. That just shows his importance. I look back to last season. West Ham had a pathetic season, to be honest, but his ability to stand up in big occasions, be the leader of that team, to lead them to a European trophy despite the Premier League form, is just remarkable and shows not only his character but his ability on the ball as well. I think we haven't seen the best of him so far because of his holding position he's played in, but if he plays alongside Thomas Partey, that'll go a bit more forward, that'll be a bit more progressive. We can see his ability on the ball as well, because not only is he a great defender, I think top 8% near last season for intercepts amongst midfielders in the world, he's also got that ability to go forward, which we haven't really seen, because you see some of the diagonal passes he plays, some of the incisive passes he played at his time at West Ham when he had the opportunity. It was class, right? He's a class midfielder. He's worth the money. We've seen that. So I want to see that at Arsenal. Now that hopefully Thomas Partey plays alongside him, he can get forward on the ball more often. We can see the best of him, because for me, he's an all-round package. He's more of a number 8 in my eyes, but for this team, I just squeeze him into the number 6 role. Super impressed the way he started the season. He hasn't lit it on fire or stood out much, but he has the 1% as well. He nicks the ball back really well. He can receive the ball, turn on the half spin and hit a target as well. I've been so impressed the way he played. We can see more from him. I expect more from towards the end of this season. He's played a very, very pivotal role for Arsenal so far, and as such, he's in this combined 11 for me. That brings me to like the number 8 role I would put in this team, and for me, it has to be James Maddison. I couldn't not ignore the form he's played this season. He's been massive for Ange Postecoglou. Obviously, he's vice captain. He's put the role on him, and Ange has trusted him, and he's delivered for him. Awesome start to this season. 2 goals, 2 assists in those 5 games. But it's not just the output, it's just the aura and the style of play he's giving off. He just seems so impactful, and every time he's on the ball, there's a bit of like an ooh-ah, like what's going to happen here, because he's constantly creating things for Tottenham. He's constantly a threat on the football pitch. Obviously not a great game last week against Sheffield United, but every game's prior to that, he's been so impactful for them. No matter where he's played, if he had to drop in deeper, if he's on the edge of the area, if he's intercepting balls and setting up players for other people, like he's just been so good. And you look back to last season with a very, very disappointing Leicester side, 10 goals, 9 assists, despite the ups and downs of last season, just shows his quality, right? And his quality is being shone even brighter in a really, really quality team like Tottenham. I think this is a move that had to be made by him eventually, and was just forced by the relegation of Leicester, and it's for the best of everyone. We're seeing how good he is on the football pitch. He's in the top 3% for shot creating actions and the top 3% for expected goals and assists. So you've seen over the last year, he's just a chance creating machine, and for this Tottenham side, the way they play, he'll keep creating chances, he'll keep scoring goals. So I'm very excited to see the output he will give for them this season. As such, he just has to be in this team. I know there's so many great Arsenal midfielders in there, but I just couldn't ignore the form James Maddison is in right now. Now, it's who you guessed. Number 10 has to be Martin Odegaard, the captain of Arsenal at 24 years old. He is a superstar. He is a leader and just demands respect on the football pitch. He can, obviously he's a number 10, but he can play a bit deeper number 8, and his defensive ability, should not be slouched. I know a few years ago, that's where his weakness was, but I think over time we've seen that slightly improve. Obviously, compared to the other number 10s like De Bruyne and Bruno Fernandes, he's definitely ahead of those guys in his ability to defend off the ball as well. We saw last season how well he played and how influential he was for the Arsenal team in that title run, with the 15 goals and the 8 assists in those 37 appearances. But he versus other midfielders, he's just head and shoulders above at the moment. He's the top 1% for penalty goal, non-penalty goals, expected assists and goals, shot creating actions, and touches to the penalty area. So he's constantly an attacking threat. That's why he's probably the best number 10, at times all the second, obviously behind Kevin De Bruyne. He's that injured at the moment, so by far right now, he's the best number 10 in the Premier League. I think he's just so clinical, right? He's +5 goals versus expected goals, so converts more than what is expected at times. His pass completion rate is well above 80%, so he's just got the all-round package. And to top of that off, the leadership, the captaincy as well. He's just, again, someone you can't ignore. Such respect should be demanded by this guy. He is a superb player, and Mikel Arteta doesn't get many things wrong, and it was such a great decision making him the captain of the football club. He has flourished over the last few seasons, and right now, great start to the season, and I think expected to keep going on. He is one of the best players going in the Premier League at the moment, and has to be. It's a bit of a slam dunk for him going that number 10 spot in his combined 11. All right, that brings us to the front 3 now, and on the right, again, it's a bit of a slam dunk. Bukayo Saka, the Arsenal star boy at the moment. And for me, one of the best Premier League wingers going around, maybe the best at the moment. His ability to drive at defenders, cut in from the right and score on that left foot, or even assist for other players is just remarkable. He's in the top 4% for touches in the penalty area, the top 1% for progressive passes received. It's just showing how he's always in a great position and always available to pick the ball up and drive into great areas. He just suits us, this system, so well. They play with wingers who score and assist, and I'll touch on the striker in a little bit, but just works so well in the system they've got. And just, he's so clinical in his ability to score goals. We see wingers in the Premier League can be wasteful at times. They can, miss certain opportunities, but Bukayo just makes the most of his chance. I think 2.9 goals increase on his expected as well. So similar to Odegaard, that he converts more than he misses. And already started the season on fire so far. 2 goals and 2 assists in those first 5 Premier League games. I don't have to talk much more about him. He's just so good. As I said, probably the best winger going around the Premier League at the moment, and is constantly putting defenders at risk and at threat. He's such a direct nature, such as pacey and skillful nature. It is so hard to stop at times and awesome to watch. When you're not an opposition fan watching him, when you're just a neutral watching him, it is so awesome to watch. It's so impressive to see his skills on show. An impressive debut goal in the Champions League on his debut start. He's got it all going his way at the moment. He is killing it. Back-to-back England Player of the Years. You can't stop this bloke. So as such, Bukayo Saka is the right winger for this combined 11. That now brings us to the strike, and I sort of hinted at it previously. For me, it has to be Gabriel Jesus, and just because of the role he plays, he's not an output striker. There's not much stats I can tell you about him because he doesn't get the greater number of goals or assists, but it's the way he links the game up for his team, and it's so important for Man City and now for Arsenal, dropping it a bit deeper at times, allowing the wingers to get involved, because the wingers are the goal scoring and assisting options in this team for Arsenal. You got Artetaball, Martinelli and Saka. These guys are the ones who are getting on the score sheet and getting assists, and Jesus sort of plays that role that goes underappreciated. He can tap the ball in when he needs to, he can drop into positions when he needs to. He's very dangerous getting in behind. Still the 11 goals and 8 assists last season. I don't think we slouch that at all, but not the big name in the front three, right? It is those wingers who stand out the most, but he just plays that role that is so important for the team. He links the play so well, and the fact he's been in a successful Arsenal team, and obviously the many successes at Manchester City, just shows how important he must be for a system. And it took time last year for Manchester City to adjust the Haaland style of play because of how conducive, I guess, Gabriel Jesus is to playing that possession style of football. He can link the play, he can come in short, he can drop in behind. So important for us, was so important for Manchester City. So for me, he just drops in perfectly into this combined 11 for me. And now brings us to the final player of this front three. He's an Arsenal clean sweep up front. It's Gabriel Martinelli, someone I rate so highly. The 22-year-old, his stats just speak for themselves. He's already picked up 2 assists this season, and he's carried on from last year. He's 15 goals and 5 assists last season, was up there with the best winger outputs last season. Everyone talks about Saka and Rashford and the Grealishes, but Martinelli, for me, just clinical, right? Certainly just a goal-scoring winger. Purely, that's how it is. Coming in from the left-hand side, they're super dangerous. For me, the skills are just hard to stop. As a defender, I could not imagine how hard it is to face this guy. He's got that Brazilian blood, so he can skip past a few and make defenders look silly at times. But he just complements this front three, just complement each other so well. That's why I had to include them all together, because they play so well as a three, connecting with the likes of Erdegaard, getting balls and connecting from that fullback position with Zinchenko, who might tuck in at times. He's just so dynamic, he is so pacey, he is so skillful, and right now he's got all the facets of the game you need to have as a winger, and most importantly, he's clinical. We see, as I said before, wingers in the Premier League who are not clinical, it just ruins the team. I look at Marcus Rashford right now, he's letting down Manchester United in my eyes with not being able to cross the ball enough, with taking poor shots or missing sort of gettable opportunities. When Almiron was at his best, he was clinical, but so far hasn't started the season so well, and it's hurting Newcastle. His ability for wingers to score goals when they need to, or assist and pass the ball when they need to as well. I think Martinelli and Saka have that on point at the moment. So as such, those two are the wingers for me, and that just rounds out this 11 so well. I'll wrap us through the 11 once more. It starts in goal with David Raya. We go right back, Ben White, Saliba and Van der Ven are centre backs, joined by Udogie, a left back. Is Declan Rice playing in the holding role with James Maddison as a number 8, Martin Odegaard as a 10, is Bukayo Saka on the right, Gabriel Jesus down the middle, and Gabriel Martinelli on the left there. What a combined 11 this team is. This could push for a Premier League title any day of the week. I am so excited for the North London derby on Sunday. We're obviously going to live stream the watch along here, so make sure you join us for that on YouTube on Sunday. It'll be an exciting watch along. I 100% know that will be, and I'm excited for the game as well. As I said, probably one of the best London derbies we're going to have in a few years because of how quality the two teams are, the two coaching styles of Ange and also Mikel Arteta. Will it be Angeball or will it be Mikel Arteta's style of play that will get on top? I cannot wait for this game. Guys, if you did enjoy the video, please give it a like, subscribe to the Players Zone channel, share this channel. I keep saying, but I appreciate all the support so far. The momentum's at a high point right now, so keep building the channel, keep sharing with friends. I'm targeting you guys in the UK there, so I hope you enjoy these sort of videos. There'll be more on the way in the future. Keep an eye out for the Away Days podcast coming on Monday, and I cannot wait to see you guys again for another video very soon. Make sure you enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you later.